Now then, hello, it is I, John Hodgson from Handiwork Games, and I've just taken delivery of a very exciting parcel. This is to do with the Maskwitches Redux. I'm remaking all the artwork for Maskwitches. It started out as an experiment using an early version of the Midjourney AI. That's all gone really not pleasant to be involved in. Things changed a lot in the development of how that's been used, what it means, and so on. We've got a full statement about that on our website. But Maskwitches is still a game and a setting that I want to pursue and produce more material for, and I want to be happy doing it, and I don't want to hurt anyone doing it. So anyway, we're remaking the book, the Maskwitches kind of Redux, with human-made artwork, and I still want the artwork to be, I'm just going to crack on opening this parcel, I still want it to be kind of weird and odd and different to other stuff you've seen. The new book is going to include some painted work from me. I think I forgot somewhere along the line, people quite like my painted work. I think if you're watching this, you're probably vaguely aware of what I do. Anyway, but there's going to be a lot of props, there's going to be a lot of models as well. So what have we got in this amazing box? Now, let's see. This is a genuine unboxing, and I'm super excited. Oh, really nicely packed. Thank you to the seller. So, this section is probably going to be speeded up. Wow. And straight away show you, look. Look at all those, right. I want to make sure you can see those. So these are all microliths. Wow. This is Mesolithic. I say these things wrong all the time. Assemblage, flint tool assemblage. Bought us a whole collection, found field walking in Norfolk, which is about as close as you can get, arguably, to Doggerland in the British Isles. It's a bit hard to field walk in Doggerland. So we have here an entire collection of tools, real Mesolithic tools. Now, I've thought a lot about this because this was bought on eBay. I thought to myself, what if it isn't? You know, what if it isn't genuine? I am going to choose to trust the both honesty and ability to identify tools on the part of the seller. I think it is genuine as far as I can tell from the pictures I've seen so far. The tools look right, they fit the description. The important thing, weirdly, even if they're not, is these are sort of, when we handle these things, and imagine we're handling maybe 10,000-year-old tools, 8,000-year-old tools. What a remarkable thing. Do you know what I mean? It almost doesn't matter, because this is a thought exercise. The whole game is like a thought exercise, as games are, right? Especially role-playing games. It almost doesn't matter if these are genuine. I think they are, but what an incredible thought. Look at that. Wow. So that looks like a core. That either it's a core or it's like a little mini ads. So in the Mesolithic period, tools shrink right down. Paleolithic flint tools everything I'm going to say is going to be a generalization, okay? They tend to be larger, and in the following periods, tools grow again. But the period we're interested in, people make loads and loads of what they call microliths and sort of put them into composite handles. So much interesting stuff to me anyway. I'm sorry, I get really excited about doing my research and reading my history books and learning stuff. I find really fascinating, and flint tools and so on are really, really exciting to me. They're kind of super sharp. They're like a ceramic blade. They're really, really sharp. The material is in copious supply. Once your community is skilled in flint napping, the creation of these tools, you're away. You can use them almost in a disposable fashion. Really, really exciting stuff. Anyway, go and buy a book about flint napping and read about it. It's really interesting. Let's get on. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's a big flake there. Wow, that has totally been flaked off a core, because you get a big piece of flint and you sort of work it to a certain point, And this would be a core from which you would flake off. You would prepare the shape of it, and then you would flake off pieces that you can use to make tools, or that would be tools right away from being flaked. Isn't it mad that that could be a tool used by someone thousands and thousands of years ago? Wow. And then it's got a whole story as well as an object, that it has been found in a field in Norfolk. Isn't that exciting though? Wow. So anyway, I'm not going to open the whole collection here. I'll probably edit in, when I've opened it all up and played with it a little bit. I'll take some footage, and you can see there'll be a bit of music or something, and you can see what we've got here. Wow, look at all these incredible, like, little long, thin slithers of flint. I guarantee you I'm going to cut my fingers on these. I'm so excited. Thank you to the seller. I don't... is it okay to, like, advertise their eBay shop? I'll see. Maybe I could message them. I would like to send them a message this video, because I'm so excited about this, and I think it's an exciting thing that these finds are going to go into a book, photographs of them. Look at that. Oh yeah, look. That's another, like, a core that's been... Well, I wonder, is that shaped? A bit's been flaked off this. I need a flint expert. Luckily, I know one, so I'll send them a message and find out more. See, these have been flaked to make probably microlithic tools. It's hard to know, because the material is in such great supply, and sites where these things are made are just littered with debris that isn't used. Is that a napped edge there? That's like a scraper? I think that maybe that is. But is it also a combination, like a core that's then been napped? I need to know more about this. Isn't it exciting? You start to handle these things, and you realise, although I've read loads and loads of books, in practical terms, maybe I don't know as much as I think, and there's more to find out. There's always more to find out, which I find really, really exciting and interesting. Whoa, look at this. Oh, this is nicely packed. Thank you. Thank you, anonymous eBay seller, who we may not have revealed. I think there's something lovely about eBay as well, that when it goes well, isn't it nice? We're never going to know each other, and yet here we are being really kind to each other, I don't know if I'm being kind. I feel like I have kindness shown to me. Whoa, look at this. I'm so going to cut my fingers. Wow. And you think, what were these used for, right? What did somebody use this to, like, scrape a hide? Was it fitted in? I mean, I expect if you had a laboratory, you could tell whether this had been fitted into a tool from traces of glue and the abrasion marks and so on. It's remarkable what can be discovered these days. I reckon that's a mini little scraper though, or just a mini little knife. Someone used that thousands of years ago. Or they made it and went, oh, I don't really like that one, I'm not going to use it. A bit of matrix on the outside there, maybe for a handle. I'm not going to use it, and just chucked it away, and then someone else found it, and it ended up being posted here. Look at these. I mean, aren't they? I just find there's something beautiful. Maybe it's from being a kid. I remember finding flint, and when you learned as a kid, I sort of kind of ran wild a bit as a kid. And when you discovered you could nap it yourself into, like, a knife. I mean, I grew up in rural Wiltshire. We all had knives anyway, but the fact you could make it and the smell of it when you nap it is very evocative to me. But I love the look of flint as well. See these ripples? I don't know, let me see. Let me bring it right up close to the camera. Yeah, I'm in focus. Those ripples, they're percussion marks, where when flint is struck, it ripples the sort of crystalline structure, and it leaves these waves in the flint. That's how we can tell it's worked flint. That can happen naturally, but it's very unlikely to happen several times in different directions. So that is definitely worked flint. I just think that, yeah, really beautiful. And those marks were made by somebody. I'm going to keep saying, isn't it amazing that's another human being thousands and thousands of years ago made that? Wow. God, I'm turning into Keith Primer Jones. I could cry looking at these. Look at that. You know, you wonder, like, whoa, that's a sharp beggar. Get that. Because another amazing thing, and it's something I think a lot about in writing Maskwitches, is the people that made these tools. They were like us. They weren't, you know, they weren't somehow differently set up mentally. Obviously, their culture was different, and the way we think is very much formed by cultural concerns. But in terms of our brains and their capacity to feel the same way as us, you know, the same. I'm reading a great book at the moment about hunter-gatherer cultures and the different perception of the world and objects and ownership and space and so on for hunter-gatherers. Really fascinating stuff. But, you know, there's a base level humanity that remains the same. Wow, look, so this is like a little awl, probably, you know, for boring holes. I wonder do you think someone made their clothes with that? They might have done all sorts with that. One thing I was worried about again, not to, you know, eBay is going to come after me, but you know, you worry when you buy something on eBay, you don't always know what you're going to get. And there was a photo with this lot that showed like dozens and dozens of things. And I wasn't entirely sure, wow, that was what was going to arrive. But this is just an absolute treasure trove. And I mean, I'm glad to give someone's collection a good home, because it's certainly going to be used for a sort of artistic endeavor. I mean, you know, maybe it's not to everyone's taste, making some absolutely bonkers storytelling game about Doggerland, but I like it. I really like napped flint. Look at the sort of the quality of the material is incredible. I wonder what people, you know, in thousands and thousands of years ago, I wonder how they felt about it. Was it just really commonplace? They must have seen, because some flint is worked so beautifully. Some of this is just everyday stuff. Bloomin' heck, you want to be careful with that. Look at that. That's like absolutely wicked little knife. I'll tell you a really good book to learn about flint napping, and it's completely out of period for what we're doing, is Kindred by Rebecca Rag Sykes, is it? Sykes Rag? I'll get it wrong. I'll put it on the screen. That was recommended to me by my old colleague and pal, Andrew Kenrick, and it's all about Neanderthals. But there's loads and loads of information about napping flint in that. It's it's a brilliant book anyway. And again, talking about sort of different psychological setups and how you interpret the material world around you when your material culture is so very different. One thing that sticks with me from that book is that because the density of population of Neanderthals in what we call Neanderthals in, say, Europe was so low, and the level of sort of game animals and resources was so high, and these people lived in small groups. When they met each other, it's really easy for us as, you know, post-industrial people to think when strangers meet, they're enemies, and perhaps they fought or there'll be struggle. Probably wasn't like that. Our best guess is it was a bit of a party when you met another group, and because you would want to, people may leave your group to go and join a new group for, you know, forming relationships and so on. Really interesting. It might have just been a massive party when groups got together. There was no scarcity. They weren't fighting over space or resources. Again, hunter-gatherer cultures, really fascinating. They tend not to, like in present day hunter-gatherer cultures, there tends to be really low conflict. On the whole, again, there's always going to be exceptions. There tends to be really low conflict about space and territory. They don't demark territory. I always curse myself when I say they, them, the others, the outgroup. But hunter-gatherers, I use they, meaning the group of which I speak. They don't sort of defend a territory. And there are many examples where a stranger could enter a hunter-gatherer's sort of group's territory and not be sort of challenged in any way, and should not be in fear for their well-being. And I just, it's really interesting. And Maskwitches 2, which I am going to get to eventually, loads of that is written. Maskwitches 2 is going to be a lot about that, about the contrast between agricultural society and the hunter-gatherers, and you're going to be playing Maskwitches much later in the timeline, the Neolithic package, as it were. I mean, maybe an anachronistic term now. The Neolithic has arrived in the British Isles, where the Maskwitches have fled from Forgotten Doggerland. We've gone thousands of years forward to the time of the building of Stonehenge. Agriculture is really well established in the British Isles. And you're like throwbacks trying to kind of preserve an older way of life that is really gone or going. And the Maskwitches sort of organisation, as it were, the loose organisation, in as much as it is dying out, and you're the last few Maskwitches, and you're trying to stop Stonehenge being finished, to prevent you're trying to push back. And it's a really interesting game, actually, ultimately, about, I don't know who the goodies are. I don't think there are any goodies in it. It's certainly not the Maskwitches, which is a big change from Maskwitches 1. And that, again, that's about the influence of sort of material culture and our surroundings. Look at that! Look how tool-like that is, right? Somebody made that. They had an idea in their mind as they were knocking away at a piece of flint, maybe 10,000 years ago. And they made decisions as they made that. I like it as well because you see some examples, particularly sort of First Nations from the Americas kind of worked flint, can be absolutely so stunningly beautiful, and so can Neolithic, like flint axes from the Neolithic and so on. I quite like this period because I feel like with a bit of practice I could make these, and that's a really direct connection. I would need to become an incredibly skilled flint napper to match some of the stuff we see in other periods. But I like that these are a little bit more accessible. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Look, I love how these are often curved. The way flint works, your flakes can often be curved. Be careful. Wow, this is just beautiful. What an amazing collection. This is just one little bit of it. Look, we've got some bigger. I need to be very careful. I have to go through all the parcels and make sure I haven't thrown in. Wouldn't that be terrible, throw something away? No, that won't happen. Right, listen, this video is 17 minutes long already. It's too long. It will take me days to upload it through my rubbish internet. But let's open this last one just now. Ooh, look at that! Oh, my days. I hope this is all in shot with my down camera. Look at that. And so is that sharp? Is that an edge there? Quite, pretty much. Look at that, sort of ergonomics. Look, can you imagine? I know I'm just repeating myself about people 10,000 years ago, but somebody held that and used it as a tool. They made it and then used it as a tool. Or did they make it and give it to someone else to use as a tool? We don't know, do we? We've got to be careful what we present as facts when we're just making it up. But what a, look at that, how it fits in your hand. Wow. I'm welling up. What an incredible thing. And there's so much here. This is amazing. Wow. Imagine finding all these. I mean, there's quite a lot of Mesolithic sort of settlement in Scotland, but it's just not where I live. Oh, hey, I know what I want to show you. Actually, I'll show you a thing. Talk about where I live. I'll just be right back. Hang on. Where is it? There. I found this the other day walking, and there's this particular, interestingly enough, there's a particular walk. I've got a video, a really long, boring video about this on TikTok. Whenever I get a bit confused about Maskwitches, I go on this particular walk, and I'm getting a bit superstitious about it. And I was on it the other day with a dog, and I thought, I wonder if I'll find anything, both in terms, this sounds so like New Age, and I'm not like that. No disrespect if you're like a New Age person, but I'm not, I'm a bit cynical, to say the least. And I started thinking about Maskwitches too. And then the sky, I looked up, I was looking down at the ground looking for flints, and it's just this one path where I found a few flints. And I was looking at the dog, and I looked up and the sky was really intense, like a really Scottish winter. The sun was low in the sky, and real like a big ball, and the sky was a funny colour. I'll edit the photo I took into the video. And then I looked down and I found this, and this to me looks like a core. That looks napped to me. It's got ripples. And if you can see it end on, I hope I can give you a little, but yeah, you can see that. If you look at end on, that's had flakes taken off it. Is it? Is it? Could that have happened? Maskwitches of Forgotten Doggerland is the strangest game and book I have ever worked on. Weird stuff happens. A lot of weird stuff. Anyway, but wow, look at that. But this is like, the collection here is a little bit more the focus of what I'm talking about. Anyway, I better go and think about editing this and getting it uploaded. It's way too long. All right, love you, bye.